Hi guys, welcome again. On receiving an overwhelming response, I would like to share my next video, which is very relevant today. It is on personal protective equipment or PPE, but specially for the CSSD. There are not many guidelines available on this particular topic for CSSD, so whatever I speak is by referring to OT guidelines and as per my experience. You may choose to implement it or follow the practices in your institute. Dear friends, I know you are working hard in difficult times, and this talk is basically for your safety, which is very dear to me. I am so proud of you all. So, PPE is defined as the physical barriers which prevent our airways, skin and clothing from coming into contact with infectious agents. Let us start with the department clothes. They are called as attire in the textbooks and on the net. Under no circumstances should you wear your own home clothes in the department, even if you are given a lab coat on top. It is also not advisable to take uniforms home to wash, to avoid carrying germs into your house. They should be cleaned in the hospital's in-house or outsourced facility. There should be a special change room for CSSD with lockers and preferably showers available. You must shower or change into hospital scrubs or uniform, and these should be different from those in the OT. This will give you your own identity as a CSSD person, and also your clothes won't be mixed up with the blood-stained clothes of the OT. If possible, have your name embroidered on it and have 3 sets per person. Now I see you have started laughing because you'll think no one will give this to the CSSD. Don't laugh. If we realize our own value and start asking, we will eventually get it. Please, please, please ask. Also, I feel that scrubs should be unisex to avoid a lot of confusion. Small, medium and large sizes, and the same for all ladies and gents. Do not have too many sizes or customize them, not even for OT. As it is, when they don't come from the laundry, anyway we have to wear someone's. So 3 sizes and unisex. If there is an extra large or extra small person in the CSSD or OT, then we can make an exception only for them. Healthcare workers should be trained on the use of PPE as part of the infection prevention and control training. This is all the more relevant in these coronavirus times. It includes practicing both putting on, which is called as donning, and taking off, which is called as doffing, all the procedures and what is required in different areas. Adequate space should be provided for these activities, and if possible, have a different area for donning and doffing. The competency of the healthcare worker or CSSD technician in using the PPE should be assessed so that they are of no danger to themselves and others, and if possible, documented. Be sure that the staff get enough time to don and doff so that they do it slowly and correctly without distraction. They should not be pressurized into hurrying and thereby making mistakes. No terrorism allowed in CSSD. Only happy people. Let me tell you a little more about donning and doffing. There are many methods easily available on the net or decided by the ICC in your hospital, but nothing specific for CSSD. So I am telling you one mention which suit CSSD. When you come into the department, first wash your hands. Then wear your uniform or scrub suits. Then put on your cap and mask. You can use an N95 mask, which you know is also called respirator, or a 3-layered mask, or as per your hospital policy. In the CSSD, I think a 3-layered mask would suffice. All facial hair needs to be covered. If you want to make a fashion statement, make it elsewhere, please. If all hair is covered, then maybe, I don't know. The straps of N95 mask and the ties of the face mask should be placed on the crown of the head and base of the neck. If the respirator has a high nose piece, it should be fitted to the nose. Do not pinch the nose piece with one hand, but use both hands. The respirator of face masks should be extended under the chin. Both your mouth and nose should be covered. Perform a user seal check each time you put on an N95 mask or respirator. Your supplier will tell you how. If the mask has loops, hook them appropriately around your nose. Do not wear respirator or face mask around your neck or store it in scrub pockets between uses. Gloves should be worn but are not a substitute for hand washing. Please note they have to be put on after hand washing. If the gloves become torn or heavily soiled, then change them before starting the next task. Remove the gloves immediately after completion of a specified task without touching clean surfaces or without entering the decontaminated or clean environment. Eye protection, as you all may be knowing, is in the form of goggles or face shields. But what you don't know is goggles should fit tightly over your eyes and over your spectacles too. Spectacles cannot replace the goggle or face shield. A face shield can be used as a substitute for a mask or goggles. The face shield should cover the forehead, extend below the chin, and wrap around the side of the face. Gowns used may be disposable or reusable. Disposable gowns are mostly of plastic. Reusable gowns of medical grade fabric must be laundered in your facility. Further, the gowns can be sterile or unsterile. In the CSSD, I feel sterile gowns are required only in the sterile area. The gowns in the washing area should be full sleeved, or there should be an apron on top, which is impervious, another fancy word, which means doesn't allow water to pass through and does not get wet. Okay, impervious. Section wise, I will tell you again. First, you have the washing or decon area, which in America they call the decontamination area. Very popular even in the literature. So in the decon area, in addition to scrubs, cap and mask, you need butyl or nitrile heavy duty gloves and sturdy, covered, non-skid or non-slip shoes. Actually, they are boots because they should be covered from the front and back. And in addition, what we spoke about earlier, you need an impermeable which will not get wet or a plastic apron, preferably with sleeves, such that the cuff or wrist of the gloves has to cover the sleeves of the gown. Arms and hands should be totally covered. In the packing area, I would again advise impermeable but comfortable gloves lighter than those in the washing area to prevent hands from sweating. We used to pack with clean hands, but due to the corona crisis, you must use nitrile or latex gloves or or as decided by your facility. You may use a lab coat or gown over your scrubs and ensure that the gloves come over the sleeves. You may wear departmental light footwear, again a little lighter than those in the washing area to be comfortable. Caps and scrubs are the same as for other areas. In the sterile area, you need to wear a sterile gown over your scrubs and sterile gloves and change your footwear into ones kept exclusively for the sterile area. Again, caps and scrubs would be the same as for other areas. By this I don't mean you can move from one area to another. No sirree, not allowed. Maybe next day. If you must, you have to change your total uniform plus your PPE. So this was the sequence in which you wear or don your PPE. Now let us see how to take off or doff your PPE. First, remove gloves without contaminating your hands as far as possible. Dispose in an appropriate bin. Remove your gown, untie all the ties or unsnap the velcro or buttons. From the shoulders, carefully pull down the gown, down and away from the body. Roll it inwards. Remove face shield or goggles. Carefully remove these by grabbing the strap and pulling upwards and away from the head. Do not touch the front of the face shield or goggles. To remove the mask or respirator, remove the bottom strap first by touching only the strap and bringing it carefully over the head. Then grasp the top strap and also bring it carefully over the head and pull the mask away from the face, again without touching the top of the mask. The front of the mask, that is. Okay? For the face mask, untie and pull away from the face or unhook from the ears without touching the front again. After removing your PPE, first perform hand hygiene, and if you are reusing the face mask or respirator, which I don't advocate, or maybe after a lunch break or something, again wash your hands before putting it on. In all areas, washing your hands and sanitizing them is compulsory, especially at the end of the shift, at the start of the shift, when visiting the toilets, and whenever you leave the department for lunch and tea break. At any cost, children, do not touch your eyes, mouth or nose without washing your hands. You must pay special attention to this. Also, limit entry into the department to only CSSD staff. We all know this, but we feel that the OT staff or our friends are allowed. This is not correct. No one except CSSD staff should come unless it is an emergency. With all this, I wish you all keep safe while performing your duties diligently, which I'm sure you do. Bye now.